we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the Ordinal Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely explosive because Bitcoin has been explosive, guys. We are close to 106,000. We were over it this morning. It's been an absolute amazing couple of days, and guys, I think we're about to hit the next 6 weeks. I think we're about to have 6 weeks of bullishness, and I say that because of the news that we just got yesterday. We're going to go over step by step, but what Jerome Powell said yesterday was absolutely massive. I mean, I think this is bigger than him cutting rates. We're going to get into a lot of stuff. So without further ado, let's bring my partner here. As always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? I can't wait to get into this stuff because some of the stuff Jerome Powell was saying yesterday was absolutely explosive. I am so bullish right now, bro.
Yeah, it was very shocking. It was almost like once the administration crossed over, his attitude towards Bitcoin and crypto kind of changed. He was never like a big, like, I guess like negative person about crypto. He just didn't really like to talk about it much, it seemed like. And then yesterday, like the statements that he made, those were really powerful statements. And I think it's really good for mass adoption to hear that.
Yeah, man. Let's just jump right into them. Here's the first one here. So the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers. I mean, you've never heard them say this. He would have never said this during a Biden administration. He would have got destroyed for that. But now being pro Bitcoin like Trump is, I think that he always believed this, but now he's able to come out and say this. But this is the Fed chairman saying this. This is the guy who, he's the pumper. He's Jerome the pumper, and he's saying this right now. So.
Or dumper. He does both.
Well, he does.
Right?
Well, he pumps money into the system for sure.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like his effect. Yeah. But yeah, it to me, it seems like he had like a talking to possibly, or someone, with this new administration reached out to him and said, hey, look, this is happening and let's kind of work together and stuff like that. Because if you remember the last meeting, I mean, he already knew that, things were going to transition to this new administration, but he definitely sounded bearish whenever they asked him about, the Fed holding Bitcoin as a reserve and all that stuff. Now, this time he sounded more like optimistic and open-minded, right? So it was a, turning of the tides, in my opinion, and, really good for innovation. And I think companies are going to be more confident integrating crypto or, being able to launch their own coin maybe or something like that because of stuff like this.
or even buying ETH to stake it, right? 6% yield is really looks big to them, especially if it's an asset that can go up as well. You know, when they stake these other assets like T-Mobile and stuff like that, I mean, they barely go up, but they're holding to get that dividend, and that's what they like to do. But for me, this is a sign of borrowing and lending. When your bank, your FDIC certified bank can do borrowing and lending of your Bitcoin in the future, you will not be taking loans against your house. You will be taking loans against your Bitcoin for a lot of different reasons. The main reason why, because Bitcoin number go up, right? So eventually, you're kind of locking yourself into holding it, right? So instead of your property, and then you own your property outright. No one can take that from you, right? But your Bitcoin, you're gonna be you want to get that back so quickly that you're gonna be doubling up those payments to pay that loan off. And I think that's gonna be the future, especially when it skyrockets. It might get a little crazy to the point where you might get where you get liquidated or something like that, but you can always add more Bitcoin to that, right? To make sure that that loan stays healthy. And I'm sure these banks are going to walk you through how to do it and stuff like that. So this is huge for the normies. This is huge for us. There's no reason to sell your Bitcoin anymore. These banks will give you loans, and it's not like BlockFi. It's not like Celsius. This is actual FDI certified banks being able to give you loans on this stuff.
Yeah, that's huge, right? And the people that are good with money and they've been able to build up, a good amount of it, they want their assets to work for them, and so that's always been the dream, I think, for Bitcoiners and stuff. So now they are allowed to do that with the hardest asset in existence in history. So it's going to be very exciting. And the people that had conviction from all the way back to 2009 or whenever they entered Bitcoin, congratulations to them, because they're going to be the ones that kind of have the edge now, but it was due to all the conviction and dedication that they had before.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot more risky to buy Bitcoin at $1 than it is to buy it at 100K. Because, 100K, I know it's going to be forever. It could have disappeared any day back then, right? So it's a lot, it's a risk factor as well. I mean, but the more risk you take, the more money you make. And that's kind of, or more money you lose. It depends how much risk you're taking. So, but this is absolutely huge. The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, and this is what sent Bitcoin from 102 to 105 yesterday, and then back down to 104. But that statement alone, I was wondering, what happened? And then I seen, I think it was Watcher Guru posted it. And I was like, okay, that's why the market just ran. It wasn't with anything that Jerome Powell did or anything else. It was this statement alone that sent Bitcoin up $3,000, 3%.
Yeah, it's a powerful statement. I mean, you can't really give more of a green light than that, I feel like.
100%. And then he comes out and he says, we don't need to wait to 2% inflation to cut interest rates. So this is another, switch, right? So yesterday he did a pause. We did 3 rate cuts in a row, and then we did a pause here, and everyone's thinking now we maybe continue pausing. But he's saying, it's at 2.9, but if we see 2.6 or 2.4, we could cut rates again. We can get rates down to reasonable levels, because I still think 4.25 is still a little high. I think Trump would love to see them around 3. So that's potentially 4 or 5 rate cuts. That's going to lead us into quantitative easing, right? That's going to leave us into
number go up.
A bull run, 100%. But
Yeah.
absolutely huge. After the meeting, though, Trump came out at like 4:00 yesterday and was he criticized the Federal Reserve. So even after all that, he still criticized them for failing to control inflation and failed to tackle it by boosting U.S. energy production, cutting regulations, and revitalizing manufacturing. I mean, if you get gas down to $1, I mean, inflation drops. It drops drastically.
Yeah,
because it's half the price to ship these things from Ohio to Pennsylvania, right? So
yeah, for sure. That's absolutely true, especially like in the commerce part of our society, right? Like if you think about it, like day to day, I would say from an average, like the society's probably cut down. This is obviously just me going off the top of my head. Probably like 30% of less people are driving as much now than versus pre-COVID, I would imagine, because a lot of work from home. But that's not where the big money savings is going to be. It's going to be for transport of goods, because you got to think about the weight. The weight burns more gas, and the long drives burn more gas. So absolutely. And then the manufacturing thing, I think, is going to take some time. But he's been talking about this for the last 8 years. So I'm sure that the plan is ready, and we'll see. I'm excited for it, because I think that we're going to go into, and this could be a part of that super cycle theory, right? Because if the economy gets better, quantitative easing happens, and a combination with that. It's kind of like all the right elements at one time, and we just get a lot of number go up, which makes everybody happy.
100%. And think about it, like people might say like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. They're not going to cut the price of strawberries, not going to cut the price of bananas. But you have to remember, this is an open market, right? So if one person cuts it, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, I love this brand of apples. Like, no, I'm just gonna buy the cheapest apples. They all kind of taste the same to me. Or I'm not gonna go buy different strawberry. I'm gonna buy the cheapest strawberries, right?
I think, yeah, that depends, right? There's definitely a certain like income class that will say, I like this kind of strawberries, but you're right, for the majority of people.
Well, majority of people, when I go there and I see strawberries and they have different brands on them, I'm just like, which one's cheaper, right? I'm not looking, you know what I mean? Like,
except for the mold. Do you want to pass on the mold?
Well, you want to pass on the mold, 100%. 100%.
It don't matter if they're cheaper or not. Pass on those.
Well, that's different. Well, you can usually find.
Yeah,
if you dig far enough, you can usually find something. So European Central Bank cuts interest rates by 25 bips as expected. So, just because the U.S. stopped, you've seen Canada cut, and now you've seen Europe cut. And they usually they're usually late. Whatever the U.S. does, they usually do a month and a half later. But this is good because this isn't just the U.S. now. This is worldwide of getting interest rates lower. We saw record inflation, which we saw record high, not record high, but skyrocketing interest rates. And now we're kind of seeing them come back down. Guys, this is going to lead us to where we want to be. This is all coming in the line right now. And kind of the reason why I'm thinking 6 weeks of bullishness is ahead of us. But
yeah, it's like a global kind of unspoken agreement that, hey, it's time to get things back to, I guess like reviving the economies, the global economy. And that has to be a collective too, right? Because like we don't want just the US economy to do better. We want like the major economies to do better. That will help each other. So especially our space, because it's a global industry.
Yep, 100%. I agree. Crypto Rover had this interesting chart, and I was looking at it. So this is the main thing, right? Everyone might be saying like, yeah, this is all good for Bitcoin, right? But what does it got to do for everything else? Well, this is the chart by Crypto Rover, and it says this is the Bitcoin dominance, right? He's thinking we've seen a double top here, and we're going to be traveling back down to about 53%. It looks like by March. This right here is your alt season. If we see something like this means alts are flying up while Bitcoin is just moving slowly. And that's kind of what we're hoping to see. $200,000 Bitcoin, and then your altcoins are, 3, 4, 5xing from here. Do you think we get something like this, or is this kind of just high hopes?
I think that's just a typical type of activity for that period, like for the alt season, right? So that is perfect situation though. Like we get back up, we hit new all-time highs with Bitcoin, and alts also run with that as well during that time. The difference is that when Bitcoin kind of dips, like alts actually rev up and Bitcoin sells down a bit. And so this is kind of just typical. I would think right now. I always say this, and this cycle's been anything but typical. Yeah. But I think this is kind of the rhyming of the history to expect that.
Yeah, I think we need to get to 50% minimum for altcoins, and that needs to happen by March. And I feel like this chart can actually show that. So really excited for that, because that means we're all on this not depressed when Bitcoin goes up, right? Because we've kind of already moved into assets that's not Bitcoin. Right, for hoping for bigger gains, right? Because we're always chasing more satoshis, and when you're holding Bitcoin, you can't get more satoshis, right? The satoshi value just goes up. But when you move into other assets that can gain value on Bitcoin, right? That's what we're kind of always looking to. At the end of the cycle, we can kind of go back into Bitcoin to get safe again, right? Because at that point, your stuff's going to drop against Bitcoin. So
yeah, and being in our space is a bit tricky because our assets live on Bitcoin, so we look at them as like a higher tier. But being in, like, we had a mini Bitcoin Ordinals and ecosystem bull run in 2023, we looked at these assets at high value, right? And I think some of the people that definitely won in the beginning of this cycle, in terms of like the cycle actually starting, the overall cycle, they got back into Bitcoin out of those Bitcoin assets. Some people didn't, and the people that didn't are like, those ones are hurting the most, right? Because they have the Bitcoin layer 1 assets, which is a new class in a sense of 2023. So it's even more impacted. And it's weird because like they did that to get more sats before, but right now they've had to wait the longest period. And I'm talking about our audience to get more sats. But the day will come, guys, where you can get more sats from your Bitcoin layer 1 assets. I promise.
You stop losing sats, right? Because if you go to CoinGecko and make a portfolio, you can actually put it to Bitcoin, and you can just see your sats dropping every day, and it's not been fun. But guys, that's coming to a stop really, really soon. We're about to enter some bullish momentum here, and Tesla is still bullish with Bitcoin. Tesla had their shareholder meeting yesterday, and it was good and bad. It was bad for the sense of them not buying any more Bitcoin, but they haven't sold any of their Bitcoin. So back in April of 2021, they bought like $1 billion in Bitcoin. And then in, I want to say like April of 2022, they sold 70% of that, right? But since then, it's already their Bitcoin 4x'd. So they're sitting at around 1.2 billion now in Bitcoin. Bitcoin was no Bitcoin was sold in Q4, and now they can actually claim that as income now, which for the first time, this is a sailor rule that happened, and now they can actually claim that as income. So
yeah, and if Bitcoin hits those forecasted numbers, let's say it hits the top forecasted number, which is like 700K, you're looking at a 7x times that, right? Which would be like $8.4 billion. So big, great investment. And this is going to be a business strategy going forward. I feel like, how much Bitcoin do you have on your books? People might ask. And so it's going to be very interesting.
100%. So this is the one I meant to grab. I forgot to grab it. It says Elon Musk Tesla reports 600 million Bitcoin gain in Q4. They made $600 million in Q4 using the new FASB rule. That was a rule helped create by Michael Saylor. The company holds 9,720 Bitcoin worth $1.7 billion, $1.07 billion by the end of 2024. A huge increase from 184 million in the previous quarter. So absolutely insane. Good for him. He had a pretty big 4.5x there. So next thing here is Forbes has released its trusted exchanges list with the CME and Coinbase leading the rankings, following by Bitstamp, Binance, Robinhood. And I brought this up, so it's kind of cool because it kind of does give you kind of an idea of what people consider the top exchanges, right? So let's take a look at it real quick. And I'm not sure if you can say, but the CME group is the highest one, and this is something we can't trade on, right? This is just for their group, and they can actually trade on that exchange. Coinbase, obviously, we can trade on that, 7.6. Bitstamp is actually the third trusted exchange, which I was surprised about, sitting at 6.8, above Binance at 6.7. What do you think about that for trustworthy?
I mean, it's really minimal, right? In terms of the difference,
Still,
but
though,
still, though,
Bitstamp, like,
yeah. I mean, Robinhood's 6.6.
yeah.
So
Well,
I think you're really like, whenever they're doing these rankings, like no one can be tied, right? So because of that, like I guess Gemini and Kraken and BitGet are all 5.5. So maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is Bitstamp in Asia as well?
Yeah, it is, and I was actually shocked by that. Like that the number, like putting it above Binance and Robinhood. Like I never. I mean, I've heard of Bitstamp, but like I've never heard anyone say, I buy it on Bitstamp, right? I mean, it has to be. I'm not sure what part of Asia it is in, but I'm pretty sure it's an Asian one. But absolutely incredible for Bitstamp. Now I might actually start looking into more of what they are. But then you have Bitbank. I think this is a Russian company or something like that, and then Upbit, BitGet. But then you have Kraken, to your point, and Gemini at a 5.5. These are American companies, right? Like, and Revolt. These are all. I think Revolt's Italian, but Gemini and Kraken, I don't know.
Fidelity is 4.9.
I know, isn't that crazy?
So
Wild.
it's weighted score, and is this a overall trusted score? Is that why?
Yeah, for everything, transparency, audit strength, cost, like all these combined into this weighted score.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the transparency holds like probably the strongest thing there, because the 10s are the ones that really fly to the top there.
Robinhood got a 4 for transparency, and
Fidelity has 0.
Wow. There's no transparency.
0. They're like, we're not letting you see our proprietary back end. Are you kidding me? Because we don't have enough collateral. No, I'm just kidding. Because they don't even use collateral, but I don't think because they're a broker. But that's definitely interesting data, though. So
100%. Gemini CEO Tyler Winklevoss says the exchange won't be hiring any graduates from MIT unless the university drops former SEC chairman Gary Gensler from his teaching role. I could actually see more crypto companies doing this. They're going to focus on on punishing Gary and punishing anyone that employs him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a fan of pettiness,
I
but
am.
there's yeah, I know you are, but there are very few circumstances and situations where I feel like it's probably deserved, and this is one of them. It's like, now, like I am a person of like, I like to forgive people because if I do something, I want them to forgive me. Obviously, there's a line drawn for that. But it's like, I don't want to see him homeless and like, wearing one sock on, one sock off in the streets of San Francisco or anything like
would
that.
make me so happy.
Dude, you got problems, man. Seriously, we need to get a psychologist over to your house. But no, real talk though, this is just kind of the consequence of everything that went forward, because like he knew like internally that intentionally they were making things hard for people that were trying to do the right thing, trying to go to them and say, hey, look, we don't want to get in trouble, we don't want to do the wrong thing, just help us, guide us, because that's kind of their job in a sense. They say it's not, but it's like this. It's like, jaywalking is illegal, possibly in certain area of the state of Texas. And I see a state trooper, and I'm like, hey, can I walk across? Like, am I allowed to? He's like, I don't know, can you? You know what I mean? That's exactly kind of what they went. Like, they're asking them for help, and they're like, oh, I don't know, and then they would be like, okay, and then they slap the cuffs on them. So because of that, that's where I think like people are really holding on to it dear and near.
Yeah, and they were governing by enforcement. Like, it was just like, to your exact point. It was just like, yeah, you broke the law. I don't know what the law is, but you broke it. So here's a fine. Pay this.
Give me money.
Yeah, exactly. So this is something really interesting. I'm not big on ETFs. I would never really buy an ETF, but this is actually one that I might actually throw some money at. So Grayscale launches Bitcoin Miners ETF with the ticker MNRS. So right now, if you remember, I don't know if you really follow this, but back last cycle, if you would have invested in miners, you would have made more money than investing in the top like 100 crypto. The miners went from penny stocks to dollar stocks in a matter of like a couple months. You've seen things like Mara, Riot. I mean, these were unknown, right? Unknown to a lot of crypto people, but they had the biggest run-ups because they went from, they just got on the stock market for the first time, and they flew up. And a lot of these now, they hold Bitcoin. So Bitcoin goes up, they kind of follow Bitcoin as well. And obviously they're mining it every day, right? So, and I was always afraid to pick the miner because you don't know who's going to win, right? You don't know, it's hard to pick a winner in the miners, but picking a group of them actually could be very, very good because I think they're all still undervalued, and some of them are going to be way higher. So, but you don't know which ones, but having an ETF, a basket of these miners could be very, very big.
I agree. This is a no-brainer type product, right? Basket of goods for Bitcoin miners, and we know that like the reward is going to be worth more and more. It got cut in half, but like they have the next 3 years to continually earn, the 3 Bitcoin per block, and so I just think the value with something like this ETF is just like really great opportunity. So kudos to Grayscale for coming up with this product. It's no-brainer.
100%. Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, on when the U.S. will announce a strategic Bitcoin reserve. He says, President Trump has asked us to study that issue. It's one of the things we're looking at. So he was on, I think it was Fox yesterday, and he said this. And the fact that they're studying it, right, gives me a lot of hope. And he said Bitcoin. He didn't really say crypto. He said Bitcoin strategic reserve, and they're studying. They're looking at this. This is something that he said Cynthia Loomis has been pushing, and they're studying her documents and looking at it. So I love the fact that David Sachs is looking at this because he's very open-minded. And, I wouldn't trust him looking at like, something else down the line, like an ETF from something else or something, or adding some other cryptocurrency, because he could be jaded to the fact he wants to make money. But with Bitcoin, I feel like this is amazing for him to be one of the people looking at.
Yeah, and listening to him talk on the All In podcast, it does seem like he really cares about the country. And so
Yeah.
if he is who he portrays himself to be on that show, then I would imagine that like he would really focus on, you know, how to make this work with Bitcoin only, right? You know, let's say he has other interest, vested interest in other areas of our space, which we know he does.
Yeah.
How talented he is and how he knows how this space is going to evolve. There's ample opportunity for, you know, the Solanas to do well, the protocols on Solana, on Ethereum, on other chains to do well, and new companies to do well. He's going to be involved with that, I'm sure. So yeah, I hope he does kind of, you know, do this for the betterment of the country.
100%. Yeah, man. Looking forward to the next couple of months of him kind of leading the charge here. But leading the charge, though, Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick unveils plan to establish a Texas Bitcoin reserve. So there was talk about it. You know, they're trying to get like it done, but this was the first plan in place on how to go about doing it. Like all the other states, Pennsylvania was one of the first states to come out and say, yeah, we're trying to get this done, but no one actually put out a plan to get it done. But Dan Patrick has been studying for weeks on how to do this and do it properly. And maybe the US can kind of use Texas as kind of a you know, like a guinea pig. Like let's just kind of see how it goes, right? Or a blueprint for that matter as well too. But I think the states need to do it first, and then it'll come in federally, especially if let's just say we get half the states to do it.
Yeah, I expected this to kind of start happening. Look, how many states have already, you know, pushed for legislation in their state for the reserve? I think there's like 18 or something, and it's going fast. So state level and then federal probably right after, right? It's less risky, I think, at the state level. And a state like Texas that has been dealing with like, you know, Bitcoin culture and miners and stuff, I think makes sense to take that first step. So I'm excited about it for the other states too. So
100%. But it's cool to see someone actually come with a plan and not just you know, legislation. All right. So last thing here before we get the fear and greed, Bitcoin and crypto has risen in 11 out of the last 12 Chinese New Years since 2013. So we know Chinese New Year's goes over about 2 weeks. You know, but for the past 11 or 12 years, Chinese New Year has been a Bitcoin bullish momentum season. Can you guess which year out of the 11 out of 12? I'm going to give you a hint. It was very bearish, but it wasn't last cycle.
11 out of the 12. 2008.
Well,
or 9.
Bitcoin
2009.
Around. No, it was.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The last what? How many years? Sorry, yeah. Bitcoin started in 2009. But
it was 2018.
Yeah,
was the only year Bitcoin did not rise during Chinese New Year. You know, we're in the midst of it right here. So this is really, really bullish. I mean, it's happening again.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about the number.
You said 2008. I was like,
yeah. The reason why I was thinking about it is because of the financial crisis. But yeah, what year was it?
2018.
2018. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So the post bull run year, basically.
Yeah. It was the end. That was, people say, the most bearish year since, I mean, ever. And then obviously 2022 was really bearish in the sense of Luna and FTX and everything in between. So
yep.
But let's get into the Bitcoin fear and greed here. So last Thursday we're at 75. Yesterday we're at 72. We're a little under yesterday.
71.
Pretty close. 72.
No, 70.
So 70, my bad. 72 yesterday, 70. Yeah, so right there,
so
in between there. So
I want to be like, I don't know how I could get like hints better, but like
if you say it's to start giving me multiple numbers, like 70, 71. Like, you know, you don't have to give me the direct number.
Maybe a range.
Yeah,
I'll do a range.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, because getting the exact number, that's almost impossible. But yeah, so but you're doing good. I mean, 70. What do you think?
You could have been like, there's a 0 in it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm actually shocked by this. Well, I could have said that, but I actually shocked by this. I thought this was going to be a lot higher. I thought we were going to be. I'm freaking bullish of all hell. I mean, this number came out after everything that's happened yesterday, right? So it's like, to me, I would have said 78. I would have said 80. Like I'm overly bullish right now.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Bitcoin definitely showed that it was good news. But the alts are kind of like, I know some sectors bounce back. Like AI was due for a bounce back anyways, because
100%.
it was over exaggerated, the whole deep seek thing.
Yeah.
A week ago, but like Bitcoin showed the energy, and I think the rest of the crypto space is kind of like, okay, we've seen this before. Bitcoin's going up, and they just talked about Bitcoin more than anything else, right? So I think once we see Ethereum, everybody's like, who cares about that fear and greed right now? We want to see Ethereum wake up because it's in hibernation.
No, it really is. And we talk about this off camera, but big kick streamer was yelling on his stream. He was saying, he was like, "I missed the Bitcoin bull run. I missed the Solana bull run, and I have $50 million in Ethereum." Right? So it's pretty crazy. I think I was Aiden Ross, but I thought that was hilarious. People are really getting fed up with Ethereum here, but I feel like Ethereum's not going to go up, and so people like him switch from Ethereum into Solana, and then it's
and then they get wrecked.
Yeah, then they get wrecked. 100. Well, not get wrecked, because I think Solana will go up too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're going to miss out on the gains of
bigger gains. Yeah. Maybe they have the Dave Portnoy curse, because like he missed Bitcoin as well, right? And then, but
his story is terrible. He got in. He bought Bitcoin around 8,000 and then sold at 10, and and then never bought again. So I mean, there's nobody who missed everything. I mean, 90%. I mean, he put $1 million worth of Ethereum at $10, so that would be worth over 10 million right now. So
that's crazy.
At $8,000. But all right, let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action. I'm excited for this one, but this is brought to you guys by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading platform in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to allow you to trade things like Ordi and Dog with leverage, and we're seeing Hyperliquid kind of get into that involvement, and BitPerp kind of wants to be that as well. But BitPerp is going to allow you to do that natively on Bitcoin. You're not really natively on Bitcoin L2, but you're not really going to have to like travel outside our ecosystem like you will with Hyperliquid, right? So BitPerp is going to be monstrous, guys. We just had a conversation with them yesterday. They're getting ready. There's some big unveils coming. I know we've been promising for a while, but it's looking like it's going to be in February. They're testnet and then main launch as well, both in February. This is really the time to really be paying attention to them. They had a space this morning with RuneMine. These guys are going to be doing big things, and when you're talking to RuneMine, it usually means potentially you could have a rune, right, as your token, which would be awesome if they did that. Not sure if they're going to, but these guys are trying to be huge here in Bitcoin. So shout out to BitPerp.
Yep. And we also are going to try to get them to interact with you guys a little bit more as well. So starting next Tuesday, we'll have them on for a little segment that we're going to, try out and see, so they can educate you guys a little bit more on what they're going to be bringing to the space, and hear a little perspective from them too, because they get to see a little bit deeper than what you guys are able to see, because they talk to, L2 builders and the leaders of different L2s and different cross chains as well, because you're going to be able to trade like Trump coin from Solana on, in a synthetic way on their platform. So, but before we get into the Bitcoin price action, guys, if you wouldn't mind, on the YouTube side, guys, smash that like for us, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like as well, and share this space, guys. It helps us a ton, and we appreciate you guys for the help there. But let me get my screen going here. And Shizzy, while I'm doing this, if you wouldn't mind checking out the private chat, because I put a couple things in there for you.
I'm not showing that one. Screw that guy. But I'm just kidding.
Well, I think
the other one.
Yeah, I think the second one is the one I think I just sent you that was good. So anyways, all right, let's take a look here. We are on the Bitcoin 1 hour chart. As Shizzy said earlier, Bitcoin really did respond well to the Fed meeting yesterday. Even though we paused rate cuts, it seemed like his speech was dovish, right? And definitely positive towards Bitcoin, right? And banking, which is huge. And so Bitcoin definitely responded well from that. You can see, like, before the meeting, it went down. We hit like 100, I believe, and then bounced all the way back up here. But let's take a look at what we see today. We tried to get into some sell pressure today at 5 a.m. this morning, and Bitcoin said, we ain't having that. We had a great day yesterday. So really it's been, trying to sell down Bitcoin, but then Bitcoin just having like opposite, basically support. And we aren't completely out of it yet, but like if you look at the Bitcoin price action, I mean, we're not seeing any sell pressure really at all, right? So this is going to eventually bounce out, and we'll get back into a buy pressure. I don't know if we're going to just do a little bit of buy pressure and then back to sell pressure and then a strong bounce up, but sometimes that happens when you don't get like a strong response from one side or the other. But regardless, I don't expect us to have a strong sell down today, unless some type of news comes in, out like bearish against Bitcoin. So it's just going to be kind of a little bit of a waiting thing in terms of when, we get that aggressive push up again. Yesterday we hit 106 and went a little bit higher as well. And so right now it's kind of just a waiting game, right? When is Bitcoin going to get like aggressive and really push through 106, 107 and possibly hit new all-time highs again? We did touch the oversold barely, and then we jumped right out. We might try to come back down again, just because not hanging out here at all is not normal. It doesn't, we didn't even go below the 20-point mark here. But like I said, once we're ready, we'll see that strong push up. The blue leading indicating line looks like it wants to go up. The MACD blue leading indicating line isn't pointing up yet. So that's something that I'm waiting for. And that's why I think even if we do get some green for the buy pressure on the MACD, we might see, going back into the red before a strong like push back up. And you'll know because that blue line on the MACD is if it's showing straight up, that's a strong indication that we are heading back up aggressively. So second half of today, probably slower chop and then eventually pop back up is what I'm thinking. I feel definitely more confident about getting into maybe some positions, but I want to see a little bit of a pullback before that happens. And on the 4-hour chart, it looks great. So yesterday we were talking about how the 1-hour chart's really going to dictate how the 4-hour chart, acts the next couple of days. And we got bullish news from Jerome, and now we see a bullish kind of setup here. You can see on the MACD that the blue leading indicating line on the MACD is pointing pretty much up, not directly up, but upwards. We have been in overbought since Monday, but I don't think we've been here too long. I think this continues into the weekend. We're obviously going to have our pendulum swings as we always do with price action, but I expect like maybe we get to like 107, 108 into Saturday, and Saturday will probably just be a trading day, and then Sunday, by the end of the day, we'll know how we're going to start February off. So that's kind of my mindset right now. If we do get a pullback to like 104, 1035, something like that, that's where I'm probably looking maybe to get into something. But until then, I'm going to be patient. But that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin today and heading into the weekend.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna be we're gonna be traveling in an oversold position for a long time. I truly believe that. I think we're gonna have I mean, you might
overbought, you mean?
Overbought. Yeah. Overbought for a while here. So but let's kind of get into today's roll call here. Let's see who first is. Who we got? And today we have the man. Oh, it's Webdro. Oh, we have a new leader. He has officially beat out. He has beaten out BJNZ. He's beaten out Yasher, and he has taken the spot. Congratulations to you, my friend. You are sitting here. 1 day left in the month. Here, it's just tomorrow. So, Webdro, congratulations to you. You have won January. I don't know if you won any. I don't know if we're doing anything for the winners of each month. We're going to still talk about it. But for right now, we're keeping track. And for sure, congratulations to you, my friend. You are now number one. But let's kind of get into his comment. He said, maybe too early. No, bro, you were right on time. Webdro says, which will be the most interconnected blockchain? I think it's going to be abstract, honestly.
Well, that's their whole goal, right?
Yeah.
Is that's why they named the chain abstract, for account abstraction. So you can use one wallet and you can, be on basically interact with a protocol that is based on base chain or even Bitcoin. MetaMask is hiring Bitcoin developers, and so that's why when we're not leaving the Bitcoin space, guys. Like, we love Bitcoin. We understand like Bitcoin is the most solid asset in the mother chain of everything. But we are also seeing the opportunity that's coming from the entire crypto space to Bitcoin. Basically, you have people like Adam McBride from Emblem Vault that has stated this many times that it seems like that's the end game is, all these layers and chains going to be servicing, either Bitcoin or Ethereum, and Ethereum will also service Bitcoin as well, right? So it's kind of like Bitcoin's the end goal for everything. But I think, you know, as of right now, it seems like the biggest initiative from a chain perspective is Abstract, because that's a part of their whole narrative and objective. But you know, I think there's going to be others that try to come out and say, hey, look, you know, you can. I think we're going to stop saying like, oh, is it over there? Is it on that chain? Is it on this chain? It's gonna be like, what's the hot protocol? And then like everybody's gonna use wallets that can use any you know, chain type of situation. Phantom announced that I think they just onboarded a chain this morning. I can't remember. Sui. You can now do, you know, use Sui with Phantom Wallet. So guys, this is happening. You know, I think we got to embrace it, but also, you know, keep your values, you know, that you have, but like just in my opinion, and this is my suggestion, is just have an open mind, because you don't want to go against innovation. No one wins whenever that happens.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, we're Ordinal Revolution, right? We're gonna follow the ordinals to every chain. And think about that too. We always complain about fragmentation happening here with liquidity. Now imagine if we open it up where it's the opposite, where we're taking our stuff off chain to where there's tons of liquidity, right? There's probably only like, yeah, you could say Bitcoin is a, you know, $2 billion asset, right? But how much of that is in our space? Maybe 2%. Like we have probably the lowest amount of liquidity in the top 5-10 chains, right? Easily the lowest. Because Ethereum, you know, everybody on Ethereum, there's no such thing as an Ethereum token maxi. Like they all invest in different things, and they get Aave, they get Maker, they're all like, it's just one big ecosystem over here. It's like it's Bitcoin, and then these tiny little rune thingies, right? So, and that's what we got. We're gonna get past that, but we're gonna go after the liquidity from people who actually use stuff on a daily basis and not just hold their pet rocks, right? Because that's how we're going to make money. We're going to sell it to everybody. And Abstract is a place where it's going to be easy for new people to kind of use. I'm actually liking the interface a lot. I think every chain should actually get an interface like that. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's very good for onboarding, I think, normies and stuff like that. But I do think that the on-chain TVL will grow with Bitcoin, obviously, but it's going to take time. And also, we need to make our assets enticing, because we know the fundamental reason why that they're enticing is because they were birthed on Bitcoin. Like they're assets that like are on Bitcoin, right? But I don't think that's enough of a sell to make people come over to Bitcoin right now with the UX and stuff. But the way that we can do it is marketing 101. You know, this is amazing, you know, place to come for all amazing digital assets. And this is our Bitcoin section right here, you know, kind of mentality. Oh, that's the high value stuff. That's the Louis Vuitton. That's the, you know, the Mercedes. That's the, you know, that high value stuff. And then, if the person happens to care about like the tech stack and stuff like that, you can be like, oh yeah, you can actually, you know, unvault it on Bitcoin and just do stuff on Bitcoin once you own it, you know? So
100%.
Dude, this is business innovation marketing, and that's going to be happening. I mean, love it or hate it. And so what we want to do is just embrace it, right? So I agree. I think that's Abstract right now probably has the narrative, but there's going to be more that try to come out. Merlin is also one of them, by the way. You know, Merlin, you can bridge your ordinals already. They were the innovator, the pioneer, and I think they're going to get their due respect once, you know, this is more accepted.
100%. Webdro says users not paying gas directly on ICP does seem interesting for mass adoption. Yes. We actually know someone who is building a project kind of very similar to what you just said. So look out for that. Probably going to have that person on the show very soon. But yeah, so ICP is another one. You could use that to really be a Bitcoin layer 2, or even an Ethereum level 2, layer 2. So we are seeing people use it in that way as well. So
Yep. You know, Hedera actually plugged into ICP too for leveraging their tech stack. So this is just the future, guys.
Yep. Matt says, let's go. PJNC says, dang it. My guy. Yasher is here. Shout out to Yasher, man. Greetings. I love that guy. Mempool Punk is here. Danny D Blocks is always here. Appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. I Walk Alone is here. Shout out to I Walk Alone. It's my guy. Another one of our mods. Ordinals Tweets is here with 2 hearts. Nagi says, let's go. Crypto Mona X is here. Shout out to you. Austin Gray, thank you so much for being here today. Tim Baker says, I lost my Twitter. It got hacked.
Oh no.
Make sure you guys have double authentication. I will miss texting Shizzy and Yagobi at night after I had a few with our messages were always funny. Yeah, just to start a new one up and just make it a group chat. So I mean, Bitmap Capital is here, Steamy J is here, ASAP Benji, super fan. Shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for always being part of our community, man. We appreciate you so much. If there's anything we can ever do for you, just let us know. No is here, Bitmap Core is here, Akala is here. Malam Uri says, yo. Hey, how can I learn about Grayscale's new MNRS ETF? Yeah, you probably just gotta just Google it, honestly, or ask ChatGPT. They'll break it down for you. I haven't really looked into it. I just saw the news today, but I'm actually going to take a look at it later today.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a TradFi thing, right? So you're going to have to go through a brokerage probably to get that stock, right? But just research it and you'll be able to figure it out.
Yep, 100%. Kenta says, I recently got bullish on ICP. I like how the websites are built directly on chain. Solana seems scammy. Yeah, I mean, it does, but all front ends will build using AWS. Yeah. Anthony Pabladino is here. Shout out to you, my friend, with your Pizza Ninja. Thank you so much for being here today. LFG. And Kenta says, where my Cypher gang at? Shout out to Butoshi and the Cypher gang. So thank you guys. Every single one of you guys. 192 people in here right now. Appreciate every single one of you guys. And you guys that make roll call, man, you guys do it for us every single day. Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into today's topic of the day here. And the topic is Bitcoin's new era of opportunity. Which chains will have the most BTC assets on them? We kind of went into that a little bit with that comment, but like I kind of want to dig deeper into this. So what do you think? Like, what's going to be like the top 5 chains eventually with ordinals and potentially runes on them?
Well, let's first talk about what chains currently have BTC layer 1 synthetic assets on them right now. Okay. So Merlin is definitely by far the leader, like in terms of volume, right? And so they have BRC20s, they have runes, they have bitmaps, they have ordinal collections.
Yeah.
So pioneers, I 100,000% feel like they don't get the respect that they deserve for that, but they will get it. So they're and then number 2 is Fractal. Because you can bridge over your BRC20s and trade, sats and stuff over there, right? Ordinals, I don't think that they have any like marketplaces or anything over there for that. So, but yeah, so those are the 2 that I know of right now. Now, Solana does have some as well, so that's number 3, because Rune Mine, you can bridge your runes over.
And Ethereum has tap.
Okay, Ethereum has tap. So there's 4 as of right now, right? 4 as of right now. And I think there's some like kind of testing and stuff that maybe Bob Bodley did with ICP. So there's probably some inscriptions that are synthetic inscriptions that live over on ICP. Maybe they're testnet.
Yeah, well, but Bob's doesn't he have frogs over there?
Yeah. Well, I think so. I think with his Bionics.
So the ICP.
I'm not sure if he's leveraging ICP. I think he is, but for sure on their testnet that I'm sure they have. But the way ICP works is for ordinals or anything, it's the same concept as taking the Bitcoin over there. You lock the Bitcoin up and you mint the CK BTC. So you would lock up the rune, mint the rune on the other side. When you leave, you burn those and you release the lock on the other side. So anyhow, so I counted just now 4 that exist. Now, I think Merlin will probably be, the leader for a while just because they have such a big head start. Go ahead.
Stacks.
Oh, yep, 100% stacks. So that's number 5. So let's think about it. Am I missing one? Because now
Ethereum.
Oh yeah, but like we already went over Ethereum.
You took out ICP and you took out Ethereum and put ICP.
So 6.
Yeah.
6 right now. Is there anything else though that people have been experimenting on or anything? Okay.
Not from my knowledge.
So 6. Okay. And like I said, I think like Merlin has such a big head start that they'll be the
Yeah.
leader in terms of total asset on chain for a while. But I think Abstract, with their big initiative with Ordinals being bridged over there because they want to have like the Ordinals Bitcoin Ordinal section, that's the shiny part. I think that they will have probably come in number two pretty quickly. I don't think that they're very interested in the fungible side, more of the ordinals, and which it makes sense. That's a business decision, right? And I agree with it because that's what they're going to be known for, right? And then we have this whole new discussion with Hyperliquid, right? And so Hyperliquid is building something, or somebody that is from the Hyperliquid side is building something to service Bitcoin runes for sure. And I think they're going to look to do other, like maybe BRC20s. Just they want to be a servicer to help with liquidity issues. So that's big. So they're going to have a lot of assets on there. So they could probably catch up some. And then you have some that we haven't really talked too much about, and you'll learn more about after tomorrow, because we're going to have a developer from Near Protocol that is working with Mine Labs. So Rune Mine, right? The bridge for Solana. They're also going to be working with Near Protocol to kind of create their own decentralized like TEE sharding. And what they're going to do is going to be really cool. So make sure you check out that episode that we're going to release probably on Sunday. Yeah. To where they integrate the Bitcoin addresses per each unique protocol. Like, let's say I'm building with Near, and I have a protocol that wants to use smart contracts, but we need a decentralized way. We don't want to use an MPC wallet, no multi-sig for decentralization type of thing. What they do is they will integrate the Bitcoin addresses into the Near smart contracts, and there is a pre-signer, I believe, on there. Look, I'm not smart as the developer that we're going to talk to tomorrow, so I'll let him break that down for you guys. But it's exciting, right? That's exciting innovation. So that's another part. So Near Protocol is going to be approaching it, and then you have Layer 1, which is building with Abstract already. But Layer 1 is going to be like this interoperability layer.
Right?
Sorry, Layer 0. I don't know why I said Layer 1. Where did I get that from? Anyways, Layer 0. And so they're going to be assisting a lot of these other areas, right? And helping other chains to connect. And then you have Emblem Vault, one of our native protocols that's going to be facilitating all of the ordinals from moving around everywhere. So it's happening, guys. Cardano, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
So Cardano is about to start a big initiative to start helping DeFi happen with Bitcoin wallets and utilizing Bitcoin assets.
Yeah.
So like, there's this mentality of, I want to keep my stuff on Bitcoin because it's the most secure. I get it. That's, but some people are going to want to take a little bit of risk, and it's, in my opinion, minimize risk, right? Obviously, depending on the value and what it means to you, but to be able to have more opportunities with assets, right? Like you mentioned, possibly starting a bitmap protocol that can lead into building, gaming, all those kind of things, right? So that's how I see it. That was a very long answer, I know, for your question.
It was
good. Who I think is going to have the most, but it's hard to tell. But right now, I would say for a while, Merlin's going to stay in that first spot.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I think you're right. I think it'll be Merlin. I'm gonna take this from what I think is going to be next year around this time. I think it'll be Merlin. I think 2 is going to be Abstract. I think 3 is going to be potentially Base. And I think 4 is probably going to be Solana.
Well, maybe Stacks. If Stacks speeds up, and does a little bit more aggressive.
And then I would say 5 would be Stacks. I think those 5 probably going to be the leaders there. I think Base comes out of nowhere because of the fact that I believe that Brian Armstrong is actually really bullish on Ordinals. And I just feel like I think they're making something in the back end there that's going to support this. I don't know. I have a feeling that they're going to get harder in NFTs and maybe go into the hardest NFT, which is an Ordinal.
Yeah, and imagine this too. Like, let's say that like you got into an Ordinal collection that has like community, but like the floor price doesn't reflect like the momentum and community support that the collection has, and you're kind of like, gosh, man, like this should be like, for example, some people might say honey badgers, right?
Yeah,
because they're earlier inscription and stuff. They should be. What this can do is be like, the honey badgers from the Bitcoin asset Ordinals collection is known to be on base. It sells the best on base, has the best community support on base. That will automatically lift the floor prices for the lower tiered ones, which will also lift the floor prices for mid and high value ordinals. So overall, as an asset class, this is a level up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100% agree. Anthony says, what about Bone token on Shiba Swap? I don't think you're watching the right show, but I appreciate you being here. Kenta says, Litecoin pumping bullish for Bell's Gang. Litecoin pumps, yeah. Anthony comes back and says, Coinbase is pumping base hardcore. Yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah,
100%. That's
their
their
product.
chain. Yeah, man. Kenta says, are you guys looking into real world assets bullish here? I'm not really looking into real world assets, do you?
I want to, yeah. I do think that's going to be a huge sector of that's going to attract more of the people that are used to TradFi, because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is backed by something that's tangible, the old heads, right, and stuff like that. So I do think there's going to be a high value sector for that.
Yeah, 100%. I think we missed one though, because Sir Shokuin, we know that he is a guy over on Hyperliquid. He's one of the bigger guys over there. He says, I just finished 9 back-to-back BTC whale calls, and they're all looking for the same thing, a better solution to trading Bitcoin on chain. And we are going to give them we're going to give them a damn good one. So he didn't mention rooms. He didn't mention ordinals. He didn't really mention anything. All he said here was Bitcoin. But we know that you can already trade Bitcoin on Hyperliquid. So what is he talking about? What do you think he's talking about here?
I think he's talking about stables. He's talking about layer 1 assets, liquidity, the liquidity issue, because it kind of like from an outside perspective that hasn't lived where we live. They're kind of like, why is there a liquidity issue with Bitcoin? The market cap is multiple trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
But it's literally the limitation of Bitcoin's blockchain that causes liquidity issues, because the TVL can't live on chain. It can, but it can't live on chain the same way as with smart contracts and stuff like that. So one of our partners, Fluid, they are one of the only innovative UTXO devs on Bitcoin that have found a way to have living liquidity on Bitcoin with staking vaults. But I think they're going to try to solve that issue.
Yeah, to your point, all the liquidity that Bitcoin has is off chain. It's either at Binance or one of these centralized exchanges, or wrapped on Ethereum, or wrapped on Merlin, right? So it's like there is no liquidity that lives on chain because we don't have smart contracts. But something like BitVM could solve that, right? With Ordinals and everything they're building as well. So there's a lot of builders here, a lot of innovation. I think there's a lot of stuff coming. Oh yeah, dude, Tap actually has liquidity. I forgot about them. You can actually use the Tap protocol to do swaps and stuff, and that's all that's actually on chain. Like something like was it Dot Swap or Odin Swap or RuneStax? Their all liquidity is kind of still off chain because it's very centralized, just like you would see an exchange. But we're going to see more stuff come alive, and if you can do it through the Tap protocol, which is technically on chain, right? Their liquidity.
Yeah, I believe so, because their wallets, and also Bitcoin that is in a wallet is liquidity on chain, but it's a different kind of liquidity on chain. It's more of like a flea market style. Like I have like $300 in my wallet, and I want to go to these different booths at a flea market and buy a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't work. The AMM is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Babylon obviously has a lot that's staked on Bitcoin. So the staking method is the only thing right now that's outside of people just having it in their wallets. But yeah, I do believe the way Tap does it is that they have the wallets that are assigned to these liquidity pools in their Bitcoin wallets. So and then that's how I imagine they hold it.
100%. All right, next thing here is Tap protocol. The Tron bridge to Bitcoin via Tap protocol has been activated. They said that we're looking forward to welcoming the Tron DAO community to Bitcoin. And we talked about this a little bit earlier today, and I think this is super bullish because a lot of people here in the Bitcoin ecosystem, they're not even paying attention to Tap, right? I feel like Tap's they're yelling, hey guys, we have all this amazing tech, and they do. They have absolutely amazing tech, right? But no one cares. Like they're all concentrated on BRC20s, which is like the Block and all those crew. And then you have everyone concentrated on Runes, which is Leonidas and everybody, and then everyone between. But no one is even looking at tap. I mean, you can tell by the swap; it's not being used, right? But if they can go outside of our little bubble here and bring people in through the tap door, especially going to places like Ethereum and Tron, because that's two bridges that they have open right now. It's pretty smart by them. They're actually doing this is a really, really good move by Tap.
Yeah, I think it is as well. They're kind of in a tough spot because you know, I saw one of your posts that said something about like why don't you guys open up for, you know, Runes or BRC20s as well, and there was kind of pushback of like, you know, why would we build all the infrastructure and stuff like that just for, you know, and not benefit our holders? And I completely actually understand that because the community would be upset. Now
well, real quick though, it then don't get used. I mean, it's not being used anyway. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like you have this amazing technology, but you're not going to use it.
You have to remember that there's big bags that have been invested in the TAP token, right? The TAP token itself, that would actually be detrimental for the TAP token.
Pivot or die. So I say.
Well, I mean, look, I agree. I think that like I agree with this part of it. Your argument that like, you know, them being frustrated because people aren't using their tech. You know, kind of raising up your arms and complaining about it is not going to help that at all. Like that doesn't help anything. What will help it would be like by, you know, getting more attention to you guys, releasing the tool from the wallet about getting out of your crap inscriptions and stuff like that. Or like this bridge, this is big news. You know, they're going to have to really figure out a way to onboard the TAP token standard. And look, I hold TAP token bags from the very early days, you know, because like you and I were just testing stuff. Those are fun, you know, those are so fun days. Like innovation on Bitcoin Ordinals was so awesome. Go watch our videos from 2023. Anyways, but like I still have those bags, right? So it's kind of like I'm rooting for them for sure, but like they're gonna have to figure out how to onboard a different type of community member or figure out how to really kind of change the mindset of the current community, which they're very stuck in their ways right now of, you know, Runes is king. So like if it has anything to do with like, you know, switching to standard, that's going to be like a no-go for them.
It's not about switching to standard though. That's my point. It's just, I'm just saying add Runes, add BRC20s. What's that going to do? That's going to bring users to your swap, right? If you have liquidity for the TAP token and for these other tokens and you have bridges and stuff like that, you can easily go to Ethereum with these tokens. It's kind of like, bring users in first and then figure out a way to get them to use your standard.
Right? I agree with it. I agree with it. The one reason why I don't think they will do it though is because that one word that you just mentioned.
What?
Bridge. Because they like in all of their marketing, they're always so proud of like, you don't have to bridge, no bridging to L2s, no bridging to this and that.
You won't have to bridge a BRC20. You can use a swap.
Well, in a sense, you will have to bridge it in to wrap it or do whatever.
No. The same way, it's the same way the TAP token is. It's the same thing.
Okay, yeah, we talked about this before. They're just gonna have to upgrade their update their indexers.
That's it. Update the indexers.
I mean, that's it. That's a lot of work, bro.
All right,
two different token standards.
Okay, don't put in the work and then to your whole protocol die because you won't bring in users who hold. I mean, dude, already has what 100,000 holders. Right, like you know what I mean. It's absolutely insane. Dog has 100,000 holders.
Ordi's volume is not dependent at all with anything.
I'm just saying the holders. I'm just not saying volume. I'm just saying the holders. You're actually giving them access to go from Ordi to Bitcoin, right? Back to Ordi. Like you're just giving them.
Yeah, I mean,
on chain without bridging.
If they have the resources to do it, to add those two standards to their indexer, then I would say do it too because
and they have funding. Hire somebody. Your job is to BRC20s. Your job is the Runes. We will give you $100,000 a year. Dev this shit up.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna look. I like your idea is great, but I can guarantee it's not as easy as the way that we think it is. You know what I mean? Look, we're not devs, right? So like when we think about it, it sounds amazing, right? Like all.
But what's the difference between TAP and BRC20?
The difference? I mean.
Come on. You're telling me it's hard to get BRC20s? They're both JSON inscriptions.
Yeah, just some JSON little differences here and there.
Like, I'm not a dev, but I mean, I know the protocols. I know
But
how there's.
I don't think it's about like the specific like commands and stuff and how that it's more about like keeping up with like the each token standard within the indexer. You know what I mean? And then also like there's 3 different ones. That's going to be a lot of like data in figuring out how to make sure that your tracking is perfect, and you can't mess up with any of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You lose people's assets, you're screwed because your indexer's jacked up. You know what I mean? So that's going to take a lot of testing. I would imagine, right? If Benny's listening, maybe you come on the show and explain like what that would take. You're always invited to
He
the
won't
show.
come on the show. I mean, we did Tap Tuesdays for 3 months. He didn't show up one time.
Yeah.
He's not coming on the show.
I'm just saying the door's open.
What's the difference between me creating Ordi as a tap token and then me using Ordi as the BRC20? Like, what's the difference, right? So as I create the Ordi on tap, it's getting automatically indexed. But why can't we just index Ordi on?
Because of the way that the JSON's written, it says like protocol tap on there, right? So like you just like it's not the same. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, they could alter their indexer and say also include all of this, and
Put this
also
word
include
instead of this word.
But we're not developers, bro. Like
but
it sounds easy.
Seems so easy. It seems so stupid.
Yeah, but a lot of things seem easy in this world that like aren't. You know what I mean? So that's my point. Is that like I'm sure if it was like as easy as a snap of a finger, that they would definitely consider that.
No, I'm not saying it's snap of a finger. I'm just saying it might take 6 months, but start working on it now. And all I'm saying too, I understand
part.
I
agree. That part I agree, or at least like have some sort of solution to kind of, because that's a huge user base that you could, because some people that have been like the time to actually start doing that was probably like 2 months ago when people started getting frustrated, with like liquidity issues and stuff like that. Then you build that part of tap protocol, and it's kind of like, hey, here's an open door. Come if you want. If you don't, no worries. And then you start to bring in more users that are like, oh, this is actually really cool and all this stuff. But I don't know if there's gonna need to be like a total like agreement of like communities and stuff for that to be successful. But at least you can have it ready.
And I understand runes is going to be completely different, right? It's going to be like, holy crap,
way different.
Like this. Yeah, way different. So I'm not even saying runes, but I still feel like if they want to be successful, and I'm not even talking about for this cycle, I'm just saying in the long run, hire a dev. His total job will be just getting, seeing what everything you built and just adding these different layers, right? Like that. You don't need Benny to do everything, right? And it doesn't need to be tomorrow. But if you guys are saying, yo, we're building for runes, we're building for this, the onboarding of 100,000 on-chain holders, you know what I mean? That's what you're going for. And I'm not even saying add honk. I'm saying add Ordi and add dog, right?
Step by step, yeah. But I will also say the people that are probably involved with track right now are thinking about this cycle right now. That's their focus, is like, how do we win this cycle?
Well, you're not going to win if no one uses your shit. So, let's go to the next thing here. Slingshot. They came out with a tweet. They said Slingshot crypto dog on Slingshot fixes this. So Leonidas basically had this. I felt like he was crying a little bit. The jelly, the jelly quote. Let me bring this up. I should have brought it up earlier, but I'm getting it right here. So Leonidas had this tweet about like all the money with jelly, and then Slingshot actually jumped in with this comment that I just showed you guys. So this is the last night. Leonidas said last night, 20 large influencers coincidentally got lucky at buying jelly at a sub 3 million market cap. So he's talking about Thread Guy. He's talking about Frank D guys, and he's talking about the other guy that they hang out with. So they got lucky, he's saying. And he said the same group of insiders are pumping and dumping every Solana meme coin runner and have been for months. Yes, we do know that Frank D guy, he says he's in the trenches, but we know he just has a bunch of people who just research constantly and just give him the information. So it's not him directly, but he is paying for this information. He's paying, and then he has an alpha group or something as well. But he said dog fixes this. Zero whales or influencers got special access to dog. And then Slingshot comes in and says dog on Slingshot fixes this. But fixes what, Slingshot? Fixes what? I don't understand.
Fixes the well, I don't know about the fixes the insider thing. I think it's more about fixes.
That's what I'm saying.
I think a slingshot saying fixes the attention, economy, the attention economy back to kind of dog and runes and stuff. But this is another example that like people are courting our assets. It's such a weird situation we're in, right? It's like the people that like are most like upset with everything is our community, right? Like the community that has like this issue with like getting in and out of like Bitcoin layer 1 assets. But but then there's all these people on the outside are like, hey, we're here to help. Let's help you. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then some of the community, and that I feel like it's getting less and less, are kind of sitting there like, I don't want to take my assets off of Bitcoin. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like, okay, so stop crying then. Or go to a nursery, because that's where a lot of crybabies are. But my point that I'm making is you have like Slingshot coming out saying this, they're here to help. Now you have Hyperliquid. And I think that, the straw that broke the camel's back, that was the saying I was looking for the other day, by the way. The straw that broke the camel's back was this last kind of like everybody letting their frustration out. Was that last weekend or weekend before last, maybe?
That was Saturday night.
God.
Yeah.
Timing. But my point is that like I felt like that was like the kind of the blow off top. And then now like when Hyperliquid came out, like people that are normally like, oh, I want to stay on Bitcoin, blah, blah, are like, yeah, help us out. Let's build it. You know what I mean? So there's this now there's this kind of like multiple option thing. And this is good. We need to get like bullish about this, in my opinion, because our assets are being looked at as like high value. And sometimes we make them look bad, because like we're like telling people, hey, our assets are not, good and all this stuff, but they are. We just got to like have, collaboration and network.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And, going forward, I think a lot of people are going to change their tune once number go up, right? And you ask yourself, why is the number going up? Well, it's because you have ordinals on this other chain that people are coming in and buying, and that actually opens up a lot of opportunity for arbitrage. Arbitrage is how things are made like really successful, when you can go from one chain to the other, and if something's being bought up somewhere else, that gets like bridged over, and everything always equals back to center, right? So and I think that's really going to help us, especially when there's a node monkey that was just sold for, let's just say 0.18 on abstract. So over here they're going for 0.14, and it's like, oh wow, like what, I just want to bridge it over there so I can sell it for 30% more money, because people are buying them there because they're not willing to do the work of bridging over, right? So that stuff's going to happen as well. Same thing with runes, right? Oh wow, I can't believe dog's selling for let's just say 30 cents over here, but over here it's selling for 20. But people are just lazy. I just want the asset. I don't want to do the bridging.
Yep, I agree. Looks like we got some comments here. Our guy Abdul, what is going on, man? Long time. Hopefully you are doing well, sir. But he says, I think rare stats held their value really well during this downturn. 2009 uncommon still $3,000 plus. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like they were kind of not in everybody's mind share. And so maybe a lot of people weren't selling them off. But I do think they have a bright future in terms of collectibles. And I would love to be able to have those on abstract as well, and my dream with rare and exotic sats is to really turn those fungible, because there is a non-arbitrary supply amount that is based off of transactions in the Bitcoin chain, on the Bitcoin chain, right? But yeah, good comment there.
Yeah, 100%. But I've never been more bearish on rare sats in my life. I just think everyone just kind of hates Casey right now, and that's kind of his baby. But I mean, I do think they come back. But right now, there's no chance in hell I would buy any rare sats anytime soon.
Yeah, but I didn't let go of any of mine. I just held them because I knew that one day, like, I looked at them as a collectible, right? Like a rare silver dollar, or one of those old coins from back in the day and stuff like that. And so I know they'll have their day, just like my curse inscriptions, by the way. I just didn't touch any of those, didn't sell any of my curse inscriptions or my rare sats, stuff that had the extra value attached, or early inscription stuff like that.
100%. Jump to the next thing here. Or.io had a a tweet earlier this morning. They said huge runes announcement tomorrow. What do you think that could be? I mean, we're just guessing here, but
Hyperliquid, maybe a centralized exchange reached out to him. Because when I say him, I'm talking about Leonidas. I'm pretty sure he wrote that tweet.
100%. Yeah.
Maybe as an intern, but
yeah.
you know, I imagine it's something directly from him. So
yeah, man. So I mean, could runes be available in Hyperliquid tomorrow?
maybe something was being built in stealth this entire time, you know, and that would be pretty cool if that's the case.
Well, Xverse have a little tab for you to go to Hyperliquid.
Possibly, you know, but we'll see. I mean, look, it wouldn't shock me, right? Xverse has already talked about like interoperability, being able to swap for Ethereum and stuff like that. So, guys, that's a Bitcoin wallet. You know, Bitcoin like native wallet, like Bitcoin ecosystem native, I would say, because they did start off on stacks. But my point is, this interoperability, receive it, accept it. Your life will be better.
100%. Good call there. Let's kind of jump into some ordinal stuff here. So this is a new collection that is dropping here. This is a 10,000 collections. 5,201 out of 10,000 have been inscribed. So it's KC with a pipe. It's like a 3D image. Apparently a lot of people aren't really too bullish on this. I mean, because it's only going for 0.002, which is like what, $26, which isn't a lot of money. But people, you know, I've seen about half of them already. I was thinking about getting into this, but then I seen it being, you know, the public round and people aren't running at this, and there's still a lot left. I'm talking about 3,800 more to be inscribed. What do you think about this collection? Let me read it. It says, Poured Traits is a collection of evolving Bitcoin reactive 3D busts that blend 3D scans, AI, and multiple coding languages by Rax and MDV. What do you think about this?
It kind of looks like that Rex guy's face mixed with Casey's face. It's obviously, you know, the picture with Casey with the pipe in his mouth, but I think it's cool. Can you move it around with your mouse?
No.
Okay. Nope. Yeah, I think it's cool. Like kind of like this, you know, this is the cool part of inscriptions. I feel like, you know, you can do a lot of stuff because inscriptions is open to a lot of different ways to code stuff, right? Especially the more that they add like JS libraries and stuff to the Ord, you know, to Bitcoin and stuff. You can utilize stuff like this, and I love it. And that's why I do agree with you that in the future, most digital art and artifacts that are going to be high value or worth anything is going to be hosted on Bitcoin, like the cloud. You know, and that's why, you know, porting ordinals over to different environments makes so much sense, is because that's going to be kind of the future, right? And I do think like, you know, these NFT markets and stuff on different chains will exist, but they'll be like kind of like their own brand, right? It's kind of like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say payless because I feel like that brings it down all the way to the bottom, but I'm saying kind of, you get what I'm saying? Like their natural brand. It'd be like selling like a brand of a store, but then you also have like the higher tier brand in your store, which is Bitcoin, and probably Ethereum too will also be on there, like, you know, the punks and stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, let's jump into a market update here.
Let's
jump to runes first, and we'll go.
By the way, let's update the audience. So we apologize for not updating you, but Arch Thursdays is not going to happen today. We're going to push that to next Thursday because they got some big announcements for next Thursday. But let's go ahead and jump into that market update.
Yep. So let's jump into it here. So this is the we had Dog in that number one spot as always, sitting up 4%.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Why isn't Dog higher? I mean, this is big news that is dropping. You know, Ord.io is teasing news from, but people aren't getting excited. Why aren't people getting excited for Dog right now?
Well, I think that the alt markets need to get a little bit, you know, loose here. The good thing is it's not bleeding, right? Because that's what was happening. So it's kind of like the baby step of let's stay kind of stagnant or green, and then you know, once these new features come, it's kind of like, you know, put up or shut up. moment, oh, this is amazing, and trading on Hyperliquid or whatever the platform is on that chain and stuff like that. And then once the alts start to pick up, because I'll say this, like from a overall perspective, other than people that were kind of like the degen mainstream influencers, they fell out of they didn't have any more interest in runes because of they were hype about it, and then they were like, nah, Solana's better. But like you do have bigger accounts that are like Dan, I don't know his last name, but he has like 300,000 followers, constantly supports. He loves
Dan
Dog.
Yeah.
Well, he supports it too. I'm talking about
you're talking about the Cardano guy.
He has like 300,000 followers, right? And so,
and
then there's a lot of big influencers in the community as well and stuff like that. And so, I do think once it goes, it's gonna go. And also, I'm so bullish that all these like Slingshot, Hyperliquid, Solana, Merlin, Near, all these different chains are creating liquidity pools, Runes Dex, Dot Swap, Saturn. And by the way, Runes Dex and Dot Swap will be decentralized once Arch is done, because they're going to use their TEE SVM environment to not have that multi-sig that holds all the liquidity. It's going to be more of a like multiple node network, to where Dot Swap doesn't even have the authority to do anything. So that's going to be such a better situation.
100%, I agree. But like the old excuse was everything was bricked. There's no bricks anymore, so we can't use that excuse anymore. If the dog doesn't start moving now, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, obviously we're going to see stuff come on board with Slingshot and stuff like that, but there's no more excuses. No, the bricking is not happening. There's no bigger than $1,000. But but now people are going to say it's bricked because there's 500, 1,500 things. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
I don't know.
$500?
Like but there's 500.
Oh, the volume,
right? Like
the volume of the thing.
So,
no, that can't be, because like the whole objective of removing the bricking is to not you're blocking the little guy kind of from coming in. So
that's true.
But no, I think it starts to move. The unbricking thing started on Monday, and today's Thursday, so it's 3 days. Like I said, it was just a Red Sea over here, for I would say a couple weeks straight, right? And so I do expect there to be a rev up. Like I said, I am glad that there's no bleeding right now. Now, if we're in the same position next week and everything else is kind of bullish, 100% caution lights come on.
100%, yeah. But then you see something like Pups is up 28% today. You know what I mean? So it's like the Pup army came in.
And sometimes the runes market works that way, right? To where Dog doesn't always set everything off at first. Now sometimes this $1 billion cat will run up to like 100 million, and Pups is lagging, and then Pups catches up, and then Dog does its big move up. But we'll see it. I'm sure of it. We're gonna see the move up. When it happens, I'm not sure, but I do feel like it's gonna be sooner than later.
I agree. Poor Mr. Yen. Still bleeding. 600K. Wow.
He's coming back. He's coming. Well, it stopped there. Yeah, I think so. He's at 0. See, that's the thing. Is like this. Some of these are like, it was, dude. Last week before, it was bad.
Boy, Mr. Yen. And then we have Satoshi Nakamoto. Wow, Nakamoto's down to 18 cents. Oof. Hey man, anything over here that you're bullish on? Anything you're looking maybe to buy?
No, I have my runes portfolio really solid. I feel comfortable about it. If I had to add anything, it would be Cypher. Maybe if I pull anything from any of my other stuff, I'll probably get into some Cypher Genesis. I am bullish on Butoshi. The guy actually he works hard through his passion. He's so passionate about like what he's doing with AI. Like he's constantly working on it. So that's a good sign in terms of like someone that's leading a project.
100%. He's doing other things as well. So shout out to him. And you got like Puka and stuff like this. But I'm just really not, I wouldn't buy anything right now. But I think a lot of people feel like you. I think a lot of people are saying, I got my bags packed. I'm ready to go. When this market goes up. But we actually need people to be bullish and wanting to buy this stuff, right? So
yeah, and I think that's gonna, some of the markets are gonna move, and that will get people to have FOMO. And also, I think some of these entities like Slingshot, and if centralized exchanges come on board with runes,
Yeah.
the marketing is going to be there. Bitcoin fungible tokens, Bitcoin meme coins, whatever they want to call them. That's an easy sell for a newbie, from a to a normie. So
100%. Let's jump into the collections here. And I'm this is something that I'm actually looking to buy soon. So dude, I saw puppets at like 6,000 the other day. It was one on there for $6,000. And I was looking, I almost pulled the trigger, but I just didn't do it. And then it shot back up to 7. But if these keep dropping, bro, I'll tell you, I'm getting really bullish on, especially the runestone at $289. Are you kidding me for a runestone? I mean, I don't know. I'm definitely feeling.
Dude, imagine like the liquidity issue fixed, and then like dog goes to like 2 billion, and then it's time for the next airdrop for the next one. The runestone's gonna jump out the freaking Magic Eden. Everybody's gonna be buying them.
Yep, 100%. And then node monkeys still seeing something, but dude, I'm thinking these get down to $5,000 puppets and node monkeys because I say that because I think Bitcoin's going to keep running here, and I think the collections kind of get beat when Bitcoin runs, and we've seen that in the past as well. So we'll see.
Yep.
But I think that's all I got for the show today. Check the comments one more time. We got Anthony. He says, "What about the Donald Trump? I know it's tough because it's official. Yeah, I wouldn't buy that unless they bridge it in, the official one.
No, they're not going to.
Yeah.
Ken says right.
Good.
Yeah. But like that's a separate token though, and separate supply.
No, I'm just saying I wouldn't buy the Donald Trump token unless it's bridged in from. I would buy that one, the official one.
I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. Yeah, I was confused with that a little bit. All right, Kenta says, I want runes on ICP. The only problem with N2 is that it's not going to get listed anywhere with that name. I am a fan of Yagobi, though, as a religion, of course. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So we know someone building something similar. I don't know how much I can say here. We know someone building something that you're talking about, Kenta. It's stuff like that is coming. We talked to a lot of people, outside the space and stuff like that. And people are building stuff for runes that may not be on Bitcoin Layer 1. So look out for something big coming with that as well. So.
Yep. Abdul says, I think rare stats held. Oh, we already went over that.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. All right.
There you go. Said, wasn't runes built for essentially gambling? Maybe Bitcoin head don't gamble. Yeah, that's true.
Bitcoin heads don't gamble. And yeah, right. Dude.
I mean, it's not like moons. It's not like
everybody
or pump fun.
Everybody in the space gambles at some point, right? Like they gambled to buy Bitcoin in the very beginning. That's the thing. Obviously now it's not a gamble, but back then. But yeah, what a good show, man. Definitely ended up being a great show for a Thursday. 344 people listening in. And hopefully our audience grows. Hopefully once we're able to stream to Abstract Chain as well, that we're in the process of getting that. So go support our post if you don't mind on our X account. That reaches out to their team. We've already applied and stuff, and we've talked to some of their people on their team. So hopefully that's in the works there. But we just want to thank you guys for helping us and allowing us to be able to do what we love to do. Hopefully you learned something today. That's our objective every day. And if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that. Emblem Vault is going to be the interoperability tool for Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, more specifically Ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your puppets, your node monks to Abstract, to Merlin Chain, to Arbitrum, and 2 more chains, Ape Chain and Base. That's right. Yeah. And then that's just the start. Solana's coming. A lot of other environments are coming, but Emblem's going to be that branded tool. So you're going to, by the end of the cycle, everybody's going to know who Emblem is. They also have their AI agent wallet too that should be ready very soon. They're teaming up with Butoshi to deliver the Bitcoin wallet version soon. And don't forget, they have a TGE for their runes called Emblem Keys. And that TGE is in September. But the only way you can have access to that right now is if you trade their Emblem Vault Keys NFT, which is on OpenSea. And on that TGE date, you can actually unlock the runes out of the vault, or you can just trade them how you can trade them now on OpenSea. So you can learn more at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you to be able to place bets in their marketplaces. You're going to be able to create your own markets very soon. That's going to be one of their best features. I believe I'm excited about it. You can learn more at betbtc.win. And BitPerp is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They will be launching on a layer 2 very soon. But before that, they're going to have their paper trading competition, and we're going to have them on next Tuesday so you guys can learn more about that. You're going to be able to trade tokens outside the Bitcoin ecosystem and Bitcoin ecosystem tokens as well, like Dog Go to the Moon or like the Trump token on their platform. And they're going to be more than a perps and leverage DEX. They're going to offer way more DeFi tooling and platforms for you guys. So you can learn more at bitperp.io. And Fluid tokens. They are the first to offer retail staking vaults to the Bitcoin community. If you are a Dog Go to the Moon fan, don't miss the season 2 of Staking Your Dog Go to the Moon. Should be coming out here in the next couple of days. Stay tuned and follow their X account for more details with that. But yeah, they have great, tooling for staking. If you're a founder that has an established community, you can get a staking vault set up with Raul, the CTO. Also look out for their bridge from Cardano to Bitcoin as well. They're doing amazing things for our space and the overall crypto space. And you can learn more at fluidtokens.com, and you can click on the Bitcoin logo there. And Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solutions for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on a layer 1 and you want a layer 2 more flexible, fast protocol, you can reach out to Merlin Chain's team. They have amazing builder grants. You just got to apply for them, and it's not impossible. We have a couple partners that actually got that grant, but they have great builder support. So make sure that you reach out to them. And if you are a retail user, you can swap on merlinswap.org for Dog Go to the Moon using Wrap Bitcoin or Merlin token. And you can learn more at merlinchain.io there. And don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and their first-person shooter game that we are going to be streaming Saturday at 8 a.m. Called Clan Wars. And Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Cheapest Ordinals around on layer 1 and layer 2 Merlin, plus amazing trader tools with their mempool, sniping, and all that great stuff. So, yeah, thank you so much for checking out our partners.
100%. I just want to hit on Malam. They say, great show, learning a whole lot fast. Yeah, that's all we hope. The main point of the show is education, and we hope you guys learn something new every single day and appreciate that. But guys, if you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com, these are some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the ordinal space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and caught up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have a 70% off coupon for NordVPN. Every single person should have a VPN. If it's not Nord, get a different one. Doesn't matter which one, but we do have that 70% off. But every single person should have a VPN, guys. Get a VPN. If you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we'll both be there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be absolutely insane. Bitcoin, all-time highs, Vegas. It's going to be wild. Make sure you get your tickets through us. And if you guys need merch for that event or any event, or just kind of lounge around at home, we have some of the best merch, not just in crypto, but not just in ordinals, but all of crypto. Check out, we have hats, jackets, shirts, and so much more, all done through a third party. They handle everything for us. We just supply these amazing logos and everything else. But guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 5 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro.
Real stuff.
Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.